Hey guys, welcome back to Bears and Bulls for our second posting since we got the YouTube site up and running a couple days ago. Um, our last video was an introduction to the things that we're going to be doing. I'm just going to do a real quick video here today on a topic that's come across my desk, and it has to do with the stock trading clubs, stock trading programs, pay for service sites like that. Reason I'm bringing that up today, I have a friend that came to me. He knows I do a little bit of stocks, and he came to me to ask me some advice. And apparently, he's been part of a stock trading program for a little while now, and getting decent results, mixed results. And he had an interesting situation come up the other day, and I thought I'd do a bit of a dive into it because I've never used this service, but I've certainly used services like them, and I've had extremely varying results. At the end of the day, none of them really worked, in my opinion, because of their inconsistency in sticking to a really solid platform. Sorry, I say platform, but I mean strategy. So I'm just going to go over this one with you and tell you the pitfalls. I'm sure there's a lot of good ones out there too. So do your research, spend some time, and here's the 4 or 5 things you need to look for to see if it is a solid program. Number one, what we're going to be looking for is a site that's well organized and well balanced, professional when you go to see it. And I'm pulling up this one here. The name of it is The Risk of Not Taking Risk. And that's what it looks like there. Master taking risk. Learn to trade like the pros. I'm not really sure what that means. Master taking risk, learn to trade like the pros. Learn in-depth trading and analysis from the most experienced traders on Wall Street. The website looks okay. When I went in to play with it a little bit, what I noticed is none of the links are working. That goes to GoDaddy. Down here, the testimonials don't exist, which is never good. The about doesn't exist. Never good when we're dealing with something so important like money. Probably the second most important, other than family. The second most important thing you have. This guy's asking you to pay for his services and insight, and he can't be bothered to keeping the website up and running properly. So, number one, right off the bat, a bit of an issue. Number two, as we're going to see, master taking risk, learn to trade like the pros. There's no teaching going on at this site. Learn in-depth trading and analysis from the most experienced traders on Wall Street. It's only one trader. He is a commodities trader. He was a commodities trader 19, 20 years ago, retired. That's all that's there. He talks about a team sometimes, but there's nobody else other than him there. And he doesn't do any. He's not doing any learning in depth. He's not doing any of that. It's basically get on the site, follow his trades, take them if you like, don't take them if you don't like. He offers some courses here. His newest one is Joe Bot. The guy's name is Joe Mazzella. This is an automated trading platform that said he doesn't have to do any work. He can just set it and forget it, and maybe it makes some money, maybe it doesn't, but he doesn't have to do any work, and he can charge $60 a month for that. There's not a bot system out there that works. Every hedge fund manager, every professional trader out there will tell you that we're just not at that point yet where bots or AI or any of that stuff can do the market. Risk and Money Management Bootcamp. My friend did take this one because he wanted to do some learning, and I looked at his notes, and I've got no idea what he's talking about in this. He doesn't manage risk at all. From what I can see, He takes trades, and if they don't work out, he tells the group they get out of them quick. Lots of them he doesn't, and then he starts calling them lottery tickets, and he says, we're just going to forget about that one. One day it'll come back. Well, not everybody has unlimited resources to trade like that. It's okay information in there. Again, just nothing really of any significant value if you have any experience at all in trading. So that's the website. There's some stuff once you get into it. So there's his membership, $78 a month. Once you get in there, he's got a sheet where he tracks his stocks and trades. He does equities, he does futures, and he does options. I looked at it. He's very good, actually, really, with the commodities and the futures. That's something I don't know an awful lot about. I just do equities and options. It seems that he finds those trends pretty good. So that's something that I'll give it, is that he does know his commodities, and I've don't mind saying that his equities he is lost on. He's got I think he tries to apply the same concept from commodities to equities, and they're two different animals, and they don't correlate very well. And when you get into his returns, he claims I think over the last 4 or 5 years that he averages 70 to 80% a year. I haven't broke down everything, all of his trades in there. I'll take him for his word on that, I guess. I have broken out his equities, and so I can tell you for the last 4 months, his equities have done 2.9% in total. And what we're going to see here is, we talked about this on the last video, that one of the resources we want to use is Yahoo Finance to do our paper trading. We always want to paper trade for a while to make sure our systems work. We don't want to put anything up to chance. Our money's too important for us. And so it looks like here, what we have here is for the last 4 months, we started with $100,000 paper value, and we're up to 32. So he's up 3.2% in 4 months. That's nothing. That's a blind monkey could do that in this market. So maybe he's just had bad luck. Maybe he just struggles with equities. I don't know. But certainly the equity side of things he is not strong in. Okay, so right off the bat, the professionalism of the platform we're a little worried about. Sorry, guys, this is just a little blip here. Close that one out. The other part he uses is Discord to let people know what his trades are. I'm signed in here under my friend's account, and you'll see that he has his on the radar alerts, and that's good. He's giving us a heads up on what he's looking at and what his thoughts are. And then when he pulls the trigger on a trade, he goes into here and we get notifications on that. That's excellent. We get to know what his trade notifications are right away. Like that part of it. The rest of it, trade log, all that other stuff doesn't really come into play on anything. The one thing I did notice, and this goes to professionalism of the people running it, it's a very disorganized, chaotic site. Not a lot of structure to it when it gets into general chat and questions. And I know what he was going for here. I think it's really good to have open discussion among the group members on what they're doing. Maybe outside of the group, are they making these stocks and interested in these other stocks? With inside of the group, how the trades are working that Joe here is putting on. Information between people is good. It can't hurt anything. It might open up some new ideas. I think it's a healthy discussion. And you can see down here in the general chat, this channel is open for chat members, and questions. This is, please ask Joe any question you have from Monday to Friday, 10 to 3. This seems to be where my friend had the issues. He's fairly new to all this. And I guess in the trading side of stuff, he was told he was asking too many questions, that he didn't want to hear. He didn't want so many. He didn't want to have so many questions. And it clearly says here, if you have any questions, ask. So again, not the most professional thing in the world to do. You'll see comments like this, and this is a comment that just came up, and I always find it interesting. Martin here asked, PLG, which is a platinum stock, is it a buy in this area after pulling back from lows? He probably means highs there. Is on a pullback from highs. Should we be looking at it? Now, we have the member group has PLG on. It's a buy, and this is where it can get a little confusion. The communication is not strong. It is not one we trade. We have it on as a lottery ticket. 99 out of 100 people don't know what that means. It just makes no sense. It is one that you trade because we own it. So you bought it, and that's part of a trade. That's what a trade is, buying and selling. We have it on as a lottery ticket. I don't know what that means. What's a lottery ticket? That you buy it and maybe it'll come up. And if someone tried to question him on that, you'll see from his previous tests, he'll go off the deep end. So communication's not strong. And if we go back a little bit, we'll see comments that, again, I don't consider all that professional. Lots of good comments too. I don't know if it's when he's in a mood or if he's, something's going on with him and he just doesn't feel like being involved. We can go back up here, and I think there was one from a new member lady, and he just he's telling people, just don't start throwing names out. We don't trade that way. Well, someone's asking a question about a stock. It says right up here, ask Joe any question you want. The guy's paying money, and the guy is saying, don't ask the questions. I can't find it, but there was a lady that asked a question. He said, he said something to the effect is, why do you keep asking me this silly question? Go find out for yourself. It's easy to find out. This is a new member, and I hate to throw that out there without having the background here, but it is in here somewhere. And once again, this is a paying member that he can't be bothered to answer a question for, and that's what he's basically getting paid to do, is answer questions. So anyways, there's a question. The general chat is the worst part of this whole thing. This channel is an open chat for members. It's absolutely not an open chat for members. This is where my friend got in trouble. He jumps in here all the time. It's supposed to be for the members to talk to other members, spur ideas, open discussion, that kind of thing. And he jumps in here all the time and tries to correct people, tries to limit conversations that he doesn't like. Just really, and I'll show you, starts to act like a bit of a bully. And the one conversation that, again, my friend really put off here is this situation here. Good conversation between, looks like Gunnison, Tech Trader, Johnny, some other people. And then all of a sudden he jumps in and says, guys, you're talking about timing of the alerts. And that's a trade alert that he put on where it look, and I'll show you this in a second. It just looks like the alert wasn't done properly, and some people got caught on the bad side of a trade and lost some money very quickly. And we mentioned how the trading windows are small. No idea. Like we mentioned, I don't know when we mentioned that the trading windows were small. I went back weeks and weeks and weeks in this, and I don't see any mentioning of it. You should be getting better fills because I'm trading larger. Okay, that's fine. I trade right after the alert. This situation here, he clearly and obviously didn't, and I think that's where he's getting his back up. He got caught on this one. There's no coincidence. So forget that bullshit, and don't be planting stuff that's planting that stuff in people's minds. This is a fast market. Money doesn't sit there waiting for you. Another great piece of advice. My fills are worse. We trade our ideas, not others, and this institutional trading and matching volumes. This is total bullshit. And if you feel that way, we don't need you in this group. We've been doing this for years. It's been working. If you're crying about a penny or a few cents, that means you're a little slow or tentative and waiting to see. Therefore, it's on you in the group. Hasner had problems on this, and we have hundreds of trades to show it. This is a really concerning statement in many ways. Number one, right off the bat, we talk about professionalism. There's not been a spell check used here. There's no sentence structure. There's no clarity on what he's trying to say. He's using, I'd assume, terminology from 20 years ago when he was a commodities trader, and he's dealing with first-time traders in this group for the most part. So they're lost on what he's trying to say here. And you can obviously get the vibe that he's putting his foot down and saying, don't talk about this stuff. I'm not interested, so you stop talking about it. Calling it bullshit, telling people they can leave the group. Bullshit up here. Just a terrible, terrible way to communicate with people that are paying money to be in your group. This guy tries to apologize here. This is my friend. Says, go back and reread stuff. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. I actually compliment you on your track record, and I'm offended that you're jumping down my throat when we all be good money to be here. And he goes back, you want to question my traits, I'm wide open, I think it's a good idea. But when you question my timing and thinking that others are trading off my ideas or I'm trading off other people's ideas, you're questioning my integrity, then me and you have a problem. Like, again, I don't know if he thinks he's in The Sopranos, and he's going to act like the bully in the schoolyard because he believes someone's questions his integrity, which I read through all this stuff. Clearly nobody did. Then me and you have a problem. So obviously he's saying let's go out to the schoolyard and fight this one out. Again, completely unprofessional. And just when people are paying good money just to hear what you have to say and be part of this, and then you talk like this. And then he goes on down here. My buddy says, listen, I'm not questioning the time of your trade. Reread my comments. I didn't like the charts when the alert came out. I didn't like the inability to get a fill. There's no comments about your integrity. Now he does a 360 and says, oh, it was a comment from somebody else. That's the only way to trade. Question of my integrity was a response to someone else's questions. I went back and reread the last 100 posts. There was nobody else that made a comment. That's a lie, and that's garbage. And it goes on and back here. And you can see again, this is a channel for the members to learn and learn off each other. And jumps in here, jumps in there, jumps in there, jumps in. Again, if you're looking for a trade a few minutes after the alert, it's not our trade anymore. It's yours. If you can't stay on top, it's up to you to stay on top of it. 30% means that it wasn't that important to you. Markets don't wait for us. Again, just aggressive bullying. Again, people paying good money to be here, and just not professional in the least. Anyways, it goes back and back to back. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to show you exactly why he got his back up, because I think it's important. I come from a science background. I deal with data. I deal with what's in front of me. I don't deal with people's opinions and all that. And so, I went back and I said, let's take a look at this stock and let's see really what the problem was. And this stock was called TMC. And what happened was everybody, I got to find this spot here. Sorry, give me 1 second, guys. Everybody got an alert on it on 555. Oh, goodness. 475. Okay. Sorry, guys, but I just want to make sure I'm giving you the right information here. So I want to actually find the proper spot for this. So let me just, and I can actually show you how he runs his alerts. So let's go to Trade Alert. We're backing it up. We're backing it up. We're backing it up. So TMC, the first buy, that's what we're looking for. So it's right here. It's on August 14th. Make a note of that so we don't lose it again. He did this TMC here after hours at 495. So let's go to the chart now. We're going to go to August 14th. August 14th. So August 14th is going to be right in this period here. So that's a daily chart. We're going to go down the 7-minute chart because this was a very, very quick trade, and all this happened extremely quickly to cause the issues. All right, that's what I'm after right there. So this issue took place right here. And this is the dark gray is aftermarket trading. And what happened was this alert was put out at just after 5:55. So 5:55 p.m. is right about there. And so this alert was put out at 5:55 to buy at 495. At 5:55, the price was 535. The last time this price was at 495 was around there. Now, it's not necessarily the price that's the issue. It is a little bit of an issue, but it's the time frame. Right here is 539. And I know it doesn't seem like an awful lot, but you cannot lie to your members about and claim that your integrity when the facts don't lie. You purchased your shares at 539. You would inform the group at 5:55. 15 minutes later, you inform the group. Doesn't seem like a lot, but look what happened in that time there. It went from 492 up to 530. Okay, so it's gone up 8% or so in 15 minutes. And it's gone up fast and it's gone up strong. This might even be a lower number. We throw out numbers, it could be a lower number. My guess is it probably was, because look at the size of this green candle here. So what this tells me when I'm looking at it is there's a very distinct possibility that this is kind of a pump and dump, where you buy something before you tell anybody. A few people buy it before they tell anybody. Then they tell a whole bunch of people, so they buy it and drive the price up. And then you get out. And you make your quick 8 or 10%. So you invest, whatever, you invested 50 grand, 100 grand. You just made $8,000, between $4,000 and $8,000 in 15 minutes. That's certainly not a bad deal. And just the timing tells me that he made a mistake, or he did it purposely. I don't know. But what he absolutely did do is bought the stock 15 minutes before he informed his group. Maybe he had 2 or 3 guys all doing the same thing. I don't know. That's what opens people up to scrutiny. And this is not the first time this has happened. I did a bit of a deep dive into this. He doesn't do it very often, but there certainly are times in there where you see this pattern. So, and look what happens here. You got all the members here holding the bag, and he's saying, stay strong, guys. It'll be fine. My best guess is he's sold up here. And, he took his 8 or 10% in 15 minutes. Who wouldn't take, 4 or 5 grand? And that drives the stock price back down. And you can see what's happened here. Stock price back down again. And let's just look what happened. The poor members have been sitting on this, just getting obliterated. You get a little pullback there, but it's just not fair when I see things like that. That's just a massive red flag for me, and I think it would be for anybody that does technical trading, has experience with these. I've been on the wrong end of these rug pulls or pump and dumps, whatever you want to call them, and because I've been burned with them so many times, I can recognize when I see it out there. So that's very unfortunate, and compounded by his attitude, his bullying, his his lack of empathy for the group members on this situation and other ones. It's just not professional. It's not something that you want to be paying for. Nobody needs to pay for to be talked to like that. So that's a big red flag. So we talked about the teaching and the learning, which is not taking place. It's the professionalism of the platform and the person running it. Audited results. Within the group, the members page, there is a set of results that you can look at. I think it says right now he's up 102% this year. Again, I don't know that. I know he's up, 3.2% over the last 4 months in equities. So massive disproportion there. But they're also just, nobody knows if he's actually trading his money. He might be paper trading. And when you're paper trading, it's completely different than really trading. It's easy to put down on paper, I just spent $50,000 on TMC. Try opening up your brokerage account and spending $50,000 on TMC. I tell you, your finger hovers on the mouse there for a few seconds. And so any decent trader will be willing to provide third-party audited financial trade statements at the end of every month. It's not hard to do. Super simple. Any bookkeeper or accountant can stamp them, and all they do is they go into the accounts and make sure the trades actually took place the way you're saying they took place. It's very, very easy to do. Anybody that does not provide third-party audited statements I believe has a problem. It's just so easy to do, and yet not many do it. And that tells me that it tells me they're probably not really trading, or they're not trading the amounts they're talking about. And in this case here, you can see, just look at the results being claimed here. I worked out some numbers where he said he's been trading for 19 years this way. And he started out with $1 million in his portfolio. If you compound, I think his average return over 19 years was like 50 or 55%. If you compound $1 million for 19 years at 50%, today's money, he'd have $2,216,837 in his account. So he's a billionaire right now. And I don't know if Warren Buffett would be sitting in the basement of his house selling $60 memberships to newer traders if he had $2 billion in the bank. I think you'd say, you know what, I'm happy with that. Leave me alone. I don't want I don't want to talk to anybody. I'm doing extremely well. Let me just do my thing here. Go sit on an island somewhere and be happy. Um, Devil's advocate. He has not been trading for 19 years. Maybe he's been in the business for 19 years, but it hasn't been trading. So we go back to when he started up RNTR, and we say he's been trading for 4 to 5 years. I think posted on his site, his 4 to 5 year return is being averaging around 70%, maybe just a little bit higher. And again, if you start with $1 million and you compound it over 5 years with an average return of 70%, this guy would have $14,198,570. So, again, if you've made $14 million in the last 4.5 to 5 years, are you sitting in your basement shilling memberships for $70? To people that are trying to figure this game out. I don't think so, and I think that's a little bit sad. When we talk about teaching a little bit and we want to look at terminology, if it's truly knows what he's doing and we don't need to see this kind of terminology showing off for the membership. I don't think I really don't care, and I'm not impressed by what he tries to say. He's either right or he's wrong, and that's all I want to know. But I think this is just, again, this is a trait of somebody that is, again, a bit of a bully, needs to be in control, and wants to impress people, wants to impress people no matter what. And when you read through some of this, this is what he's telling his group at the beginning of the day. There's not one person in the group that fully understands what he's saying. This is all just gibberish. I'm sure to him it has some meaning and value, but if you're a teacher and an educator, this is not the way you try to communicate to people. Good. Double space morning, double space NTG major overnight, oils holding, metals pulling back, stocks small red. Yesterday, first sign of illiquidity can create we saw extreme pullbacks in big name stocks. Once margin selling stopped, they bounced. Reversals should be frequent. We saw nat gas future curve turn yesterday. Again, nobody has a clue what he's talking about there. No, natural gas curve turn. You can talk like that, but we saw from the questions and the general chat, he's not interested in telling people what that means. Yet he will continue to use terminology all over the place. Wheat has, down here, both bearish and priced in. Wheat doesn't have a story. I went back and saw a newer member ask him what that meant. What's the story? Well, he got so offended it was unbelievable. To me, that's an extremely reasonable question, and his experience gives him the story. Is basically what he says, and don't ask about that again. So, anyways, the terminology he uses is an early outflows, moving fast, liquidity, don't fall traps with two double A's in there. Oil spreads still telling us. No, he doesn't tell us what kind of spread he's using. There's 3 or 4 different kinds of spreads that are used in futures, and he doesn't tell us which ones he's using. And if you ask him, he won't tell you what he's using. So, anyways, we could go on and on and on with this, but when it comes to terminology and when it comes to teaching and learning, terminology and the way you present and communicate to people are very important, especially when people are paying you to be here. So again, not a great outlook there. You're just trying to baffle people with bullshit terminology that only he understands. And that's about it, really. So A little bit harsh on this RNTR trading, but after doing a little bit of a deep dive into it, I'm harsh because I'm a little pissed off on how he treated my buddy. Um, so look, those are the issues you need to look out for. I said the only positive thing out of this whole thing is that his background in commodities is interesting. And the only way I would utilize a site like this is to take these very small section of information that he seems to be good at, which is commodities. And when he says he's buying a commodity, I will put it on my radar. And so that's just one more piece of information I have to help me make a decision using the way I trade to make a buy. And that gives me more opportunity to make it. So I certainly would not trade with this guy without having my own input and my own strategy at play as well. Not being harsh, particularly on this site, but I am applying the same criteria I would apply to the other sites we're going to discuss. Probably once every week or so, I'm gonna get into one, and you're going to see an awful lot of these kind of comments I have. So that is it on RNTR Trading. I will post information in the video information section so you can check them out and do your own research and see what you think. Maybe it'll work for you, maybe not, who knows. But that is my quick one today on looking at these kind of programs. I hope it was informational for you. And I will be away tomorrow and posting another video the day after, and we're going to get into some of my stock trading strategies, the stocks I currently have on, the stocks I'm currently looking at, and the 3 different ways I will look at a stock to determine if it is a buy or sell for me. And I think that most of you would be interested in that kind of stuff as well. Just for your own learning process. So I hope you like this one, and I'm pretty sure you're going to like the next one as well. And then we're going to start looking at things like, once we get up and rolling a little bit here, is doing some lives. We already got some. I've got some collaborative lives set up with some other traders that I follow on here. Really good guys, good teachers. None of them do it for money. They do it out of the interest and love of managing their own money and creating their own wealth. And I think that'll be super interesting as well. So anyways, thank you very much, guys, and have a great rest of your day.